Hi everyone. So today we'll be discussing on the topic DP on intervals, right? So this one I had already done the video. I deleted the video by mistake actually. Let me. So I have written the code again. So sorry, I have written the code already. So let's discuss the same. So see here, DP on intervals is nothing but the dynamic programming technique where we solve the problems by computing the optimal answers, right? Optimal answers for what? For all the subarrays or the subintervals and then combining them to solve the large intervals. So we'll be making use of the bottom up DP here, right? So the DP state usually represents the answer for interval left and right. This left is nothing but the starting interval. This R is nothing but the end interval, right? So the DP state usually represents the answer for an interval L, R and transitions try all the possible partition points inside that particular interval. So this is fine. Next, let's move on with the algorithm explanation. So let's define dp of LR as the minimum cost to solve the interval from L to R. So what we'll do, we have defined dp of L and R as the minimum cost to solve the interval from L to R. So that's what we'll do. So this is nothing but the dp of LR is nothing but the starting and the ending interval we have considered, right? So and we are applying the this one. We are going with the dp array. Next, so we are considering length of the interval increases from small to large, quite obviously, right? So for every interval left to right, so we'll try splitting at every k where k is greater than or equal to L and less than R. So this one strictly. And finally, we'll choose the minimum among all the possible splits. We'll be choosing the minimum among all possible splits. That's what we'll be doing. So this is it for the algorithm explanation. So for this particular one, will not dry run actually. So I'll just explain this one directly, right? So this is fine. Let's do one thing. Now, yeah, let's consider here this one. Let me explain the coding part. So buffer data and print writer is related to the input output part. We can ignore for now, right? So this is fine. Now the first part is nothing but this is a simple example that we have considered 8, 10, 20, 30, 40, right? So this is nothing but the array representing the matrix dimensions. Yep. So matrices are nothing but here M1, M2, and N3. M3 as we are splitting with K1, K equals 1 and K equals to 2. See here, so M1 becomes 10 into 20. Next, M2 becomes 20 into 30, and this one, M3 becomes 30 into 40, right? So just keep this in mind. M1, 10 into 20, M2, 20 into 30, and M3, this one, 30 into 40. So this is fine. Next, we have assigned this one, array, length of the array to the this one n, right? So this is fine. So next we are making use of the dp array. Yep. So we are making use of the dp, right? So we are going with the dp array and we have considered size n and n as we are dealing with a 2D DP, right? So next we have went with the two for loops here. The first for loop is nothing but, so here we have considered length. So length represents the length of the matrix chain, right? So minimum meaningful chain length is 2 here. In this case, we are starting from the 2. So next for loop, we are considering L. L is nothing but the starting matrix index, right? Why we are making use of the L here? Because it ensures R does not go out of the bounds. L and R, we are considering L and R, right? Left and right, nothing but starting and ending interval. So L is the starting matrix index and it ensures R does not go out of bounds. Next, I have written here R equals L plus length minus 1. So this is nothing but R is the ending matrix index. L is starting matrix index and R is nothing but ending matrix index, right? So next let's go with dp of LR. dp of LR, I have assigned this one to the positive infinity because we are initializing the minimum cost as this one, infinity. So next we are going with one more for loop here. You can clearly see K. So K, what does K represent here? We are trying all the possible partition points K, right? So K, in our case, we'll be going with a K equals 1 and K equals to 2, right? Two partitions basically. So this is nothing but the formula to calculate the minimum cost. So you can just look into it. Yep. So this is nothing but first a cost of multiplying the left subchain is nothing but dp of LK, and cost of multiplying the right subchain is nothing but dp of k plus 1 into R. And finally, cost of multiplying the two resulting matrices will be going with this one. What do we call? Yeah, a of L minus 1 into A of k into A of R. Finally, we have to store the minimum cost for dp of L into R, nothing but here, this part, what do we call? Mat.min of dp of L into R, comma, cost. We are storing the minimum cost for dp of L into R. Next, what we are doing, we are just displaying the result within the, we are just displaying the result by making use of out.println as we are going with print writer, right? So flush, we are making use of flush as we are making use of the print writer. We have to display the output fast, right? So that is the reason we are going with the, we have to display the output immediately when we run the code. So that is the reason we are making use of the flush as we have went with the print writer. So this is fine. This is it for the coding part, right? So this is it for the coding part. So yeah, so let me run the code. So you can clearly see here the output that we are getting here is 9, which is absolutely correct. So this 9 is not correct, man. 9 is not for this. Sorry. So let me run this one. Yeah, 18,000 we are getting. So k we have split into two. K equals 1 and k equals to 2. So when we apply the formula, dp of this one, where did it go? This one basically. So we will be splitting into two, k equals 1 as well as the k equals to 2. We'll be going with the two partitions. First one leads to 6,000 and the second one leads to 12,000. Both, we will sum up both at the end. So this one, left side, we get dp of L into k. So this one we get 6,000 and dp of k plus 1 into R. This one we get 12,000. So total a of this one plus we have to sum up this one as well, right? At the end. So that will lead to 18,000. 6,000 plus 12,000, that would lead to 18,000, right? So 18,000 will be the output. So we are getting the desired output here, right? So yeah, this is it for the algorithm. Yep. So this is it for the algorithm, and time complexity would lead to big of this one here. We are going with the three nested loops here. You can clearly see time complexity would lead to big of n cube here in this case. Yep. So yep, this is it for the coding part, and this is it for the algorithm as well, dp on intervals, right? So we are left with only one thing. Yeah, we are left with only two topics. One is bit masking DP and another one is digit DP. Next, we'll be discussing the bit masking DP. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.